Now, the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, is one of the prominent delegates participating at the March 20 and 21 Africa CEO Forum in Geneva, Switzerland. President Sall will present the Senegal's economic transformation strategy and several development projects alongside his top-level delegation that includes members of government and the country's most influential CEOs. The small West African state of Senegal posted the third highest economic growth in Africa in 2016 due to modernized fiscal governance and the implementation of the emerging Senegal plan. Senegal is projected to grow at a forecast of 7% in 2017 with estimated investments totaling $7 billion. Last year, the presidents of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire were participants at the Africa CEO Forum. That's a gathering of more than 1,000 delegates of top policymakers, business leaders, and CEOs of big African companies. Now, Botswana has put its national airline up for sale as part of its latest drive to privatize loss-making government-owned companies. Air Botswana will be the second of such sale after the government sold 49% of its telecoms firm in a stock market flotation last year. The Transport Department said in a notice inviting expressions of interest that it is open to proposals on various forms of privatization, including joint ventures, ownership franchising, and concessions. As well as 4 domestic routes, Air Botswana provides cargo and air passenger services to Cape Town and Johannesburg from Gaborone, Francistown, and the tourism hubs of Maun and Kasane. Now, the Dangote Foundation has renewed its partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation towards the fight against malaria disease in Africa. At the just concluded World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the billionaire businessman speaks on how much more his foundation is investing in the anti-malaria campaign on the continent and in Nigeria in particular.
What drives me actually is something that, I need to really give back. We have a very, strong, big foundation, and one of our focus is health. And we are partnering with Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. And now, also, if you know, I don't know that you are aware that I'm the malaria ambassador in Nigeria. So we have now set up this council of, End Malaria Council, which Ray Chambers is also a member, Bill Gates is a member, I'm a member, President Kikwete, President Salif, and 2 other members. So really, like what you've seen, we have actually achieved almost about reducing the mortality rate by about 70%. And the last hug is the 30%, which is more difficult. And what we want to do is to bring everything under one roof, and we'll have a coordinated approach in terms of eliminating, malaria. If we are able to achieve eliminating malaria in Nigeria, then we've done at least more than 70% of the job. People, have malaria, you are going to be so weak, your productivity is low, you'll not be able to even work. You won't be able to go to work. And apart from all this, malaria really takes more lives than any other disease in Nigeria. So it is something that we need to really fight. It's not only government's responsibility, it's also the responsibility of us, the private sector, the foundations. And it is good. We cannot just sit and have foreign concerns to come on their own. We need to partner with them to make sure that we eliminate it totally. What takes most of our money in our foundation, even at the time like last year, if we spend like 100 million, for the last 3 years we've been spending 100 million US per annum, but health always takes the chunk of it. But right now we'll be able to do more, especially in Nigeria because of the devaluation and whatever. But health will always take at least 50% of our spendings.
Meantime, Kenya has declared a national disaster, calling for aid to counter drought that is posing a major risk to people, livestock, and wildlife. The Kenya Red Cross has estimated around 2.7 million people are in need of food, and after low rainfall in October and November last year, and the next rainy season not due before April. President Uhuru Kenyatta says the drought had affected 23 out of the country's 47 counties and called for local and international partners to come in and support the government's efforts to contain the situation. The UN World Food Programme says it was short of $22 million for the next 6 to 9 months to provide support such as school meals for 428,000 children who often depend on them as their only substantial meal of the day. The statement issued by the Kenyan presidency did not say how much the government aimed to raise to deal with the drought, but says it had already released 7.3 billion Kenyan shillings, and authorities at the country level had provided another 2 billion shillings. In Southern Africa, South Africa's automobile sector capital expenditure is projected to rise to 8.2 billion rand this year from 6.4 billion rand last year. The National Association of Automobile Manufacturers of South Africa says in a memo that the sector's estimated capital expenditure was based on details supplied by 7 major car makers and data from various sources relevant to Beijing Automotive International Corporation. Car manufacturers in South Korea include Ford, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz SA, Nissan and Toyota, among others. The sector, which is South Africa's largest manufacturing industry, expects a slight increase in new vehicle sales this year as economic growth gains pace thanks to commodity price rises and a recovery in farming. And still in South Africa, the biggest cement maker, PPC Limited, is in major talks with its nearest rival, AfriCem Group, seeking to overcome valuation squabbles that sunk previous tie-up efforts. Majority owned by pension fund, the Public Investment Corporation, AfriCem first proposed merger in 2014, swooping in at a time when PPC share price had been under pressure due to infighting between its board and former chief executive. Shares in PPC are hovering up nearly a third so far this year, recovering from a hammering suffered in the middle of 2016 after a loss of investment grade status forced it deeply to discount its right offer. PPC shares lost 44% in 2015 and nearly 12.5% in the previous year. That's about all for today on Business Incorporated. We thank you for watching wherever you are. This is Channels Television, Nigeria's news leader. I am Bosun Omapaye, and I will see you again.